The dingy space cantina reeked of stale booze and desperation. Reese nursed his lukewarm tall brew, trying to fade into the shadows and lick his wounds after another fruitless day scrounging for salvage. That's when the raucous laughter erupted from the alien crew crowding the main bar. The towering Soren and his smugly superior ilk sneered in Reese's direction. The highly evolved species had access to arcane powers and energy manipulation far beyond human comprehension. Natives to this system, they pretty much owned every outpost and settlement worth a damn. Mere primitives, scrabbling in the dirt with their simple tools while we wield the cosmic forces. Soren's booming voice carried clearly across the cantina as he threw back another brimming flagon of Yixilian rumbuzz. The beveled edges of Reese's technician's wrench bit into his calloused palm as he fought to keep his temper in check. After all the times the Soren and his arrogant mystics had made human settlers' lives miserable, he'd learned to just grit his teeth and move along. Even with their numbers growing, humanity wasn't ready for open conflict. The lesser races delude themselves into thinking their crude contraptions represent any kind of evolution, Soren bellowed, his hulking bipedal form swaying as alien eyes swept the cantina's crusty denizens. They are mired in wretched ignorance, devoid of true understanding of the universe's deeper mysteries. This time, his malicious gaze locked directly onto Reese. The inebriated mystic stomped over, flanked by sycophantic lackeys guffawing at their noble leader's barbs. "Is the little human upset by the facts of his inferiority?" Soren loomed over Reese, all glinting fangs and malicious intent. "Perhaps you'd like to wager your most sophisticated technology against my command of the 7 celestial orders? See how quickly it crumbles before true power?" Reese's fist clenched, alloy fingers grinding as Soren's odious presence suffocated him. Part of him wanted nothing more than to cut this pompous alien freak down to size once and for all. But the risks of defying a mystic plunged the stakes far beyond his own petty grievances. His jaw clenched. Maybe it was time to prove exactly what human ingenuity could achieve. Reese squared his shoulders, meeting Soren's challenge head-on. "You're on, Mystic, but we settle this the right way. In the arena. Unless you churlish magic twisters are too cowardly." Soren reared back, beady alien eyes widening in drunken outrage at the audacity of this lowly human. But just as quickly, a sadistic grin split his mottled features. "Very well, techno-primitive. Let all bear witness as I dismantle your pathetic contraptions and break what's left of your worthless spirit." He gestured grandly with one huge appendage. "I hereby invoke the rules of showdown arbitration. We convene at sunrise on the contest grounds. Your feeble devices against my mystic supremacy." Raucous cheers erupted from Soren's crew as the portly alien slammed back another flagon, cosmic energies swirling around his towering frame. But Reese was in the zone, a gleam in his eye as he mentally mapped out his stratagem. The next morning, Reese stood ready in a repurposed excavation pit, now serving as the challenge arena. Equipment lockers stood by, tools and components available for competitors to assemble their proving pieces. Across the way, Soren levitated effortlessly, chanting ominous frequencies as eldritch energies coalesced around him. Right on cue, the challenge klaxon blared and both opponents raced to craft their offerings. Reese deftly assembled an intricate rig of subatomic field generators, magnetic accelerator rails, and intricate gravitonic lensing arrays. While beside him, Soren summoned swirling plasmonic vortices and wove shimmering threads of antimatter potential. Finally, the construct stood complete. Soren let out a rolling chuckle, tendrils of cosmic force undulating all around his mystic maelstrom. "Prepare to be erased, techno-scum!" He thrust forward a hugely taloned fist, unleashing a torrent of infinite destructive energies towards Reese's waiting mechanism. But at the final possible nanosecond, containment fields snapped into place, bending Soren's unleashed onslaught inexorably inwards to form an infinitely dense, reverberating singularity. The cosmic vortex collapsed in on itself, compressing into a fist-sized micro-singularity containment sphere. Reese scooped it up and gave it an irreverent little spin as Soren and his cronies gaped in stunned disbelief. Sometimes the simplest human ingenuity could outwit the most bombastic mystic bravado. "Looks like you went supernova before the contest even started, oh enlightened one," Reese quipped as dumbfounded silence reigned. "Care for a dice game? Winner takes all?" Soren's face flushed deepest violet, cosmic fury roiling just beneath the surface. His mystic crew shrank back, not eager to bear the brunt of their leader's unleashed wrath. The supposed primitive had made an utter mockery of Soren before all gathered. "You dare taunt me with your cheap chicanery, human?" Soren's voice trembled with barely restrained rage. "After such an underhanded stunt, provoking the infinite powers you cannot begin to comprehend?" Reese remained unruffled, nonchalantly tossing the containment sphere up and catching it. "Hey, I'm just playing by the rules here. Thought you mystic big brains embraced the great cosmic uncertainty and all that? Seems your mastery is more fragile than you let on." A tense silence stretched out, the crowd collectively holding its breath. Soren's eyes narrowed to slits, ancient cosmic energy swirling around his hulking form as he prepared to unleash devastating reprisal. In that moment, Reese knew he'd crossed a line, but there was no backing down now, not after enduring years of debasement and scorn from Soren's kind. If he was going out, it would be on his own uncompromising terms. With a defiant roar, Reese hurled the sphere skyward and hit the detonator switch. Containment fields ruptured in the apocalyptic shockwave, the hyperdense singularity core expanding rapidly in a devastatingly explosive event. Soren had only started summoning counterforces when the inconceivable energies washed over the arena, reducing everything in the blast radius to its constituent subatomic particles. In the eerie silence that followed, only scattered debris and a smoldering crater remained. For perhaps the first time, Soren's mystic ilk witnessed the ferocious power of human desperation, ingenuity, and self-sacrifice gone terribly awry, while the blast's mutagenic aftershocks quickly became apparent, warping and disfiguring any surviving life forms with hellstorm-like coherence contamination effects. As mystics and arena-goers alike degenerated into tortured aberrations, their agonizing mutations echoed cycles later across the outposts, dingy cantinas, and trade ports. Serving as a brutal requiem for the day, a solitary human dared to face oblivion on his own terms, rather than accept the endless indignities of a cruel, cosmic order.